Hello and welcome to another Godot tutorial, and in today's video I'll be showing you how to add a snow effect to your Godot scene. So first, to start off, you'll need to add a child node of type GPU particles 3D. Once you've done this, in order to start emitting particles, you need to assign a process material and draw passes. So for the process material, I can click on the empty box and click on the new particle process material, and in the draw passes I'll add a new plane mesh, and as you can see the particles start to emit. Just use one particle, and now in the geometry section I'll need to assign a new material. I'll add a new standard material. As you can see, the emitting particle is now textured, and here in the vertex color you'll want to select use as albedo as turned on, and in the transparency section you'll want to select alpha and the blend mode as add. Now under the billboard you'll want to enable particle billboard. As you can see, the particle now faces a certain direction, and to make it always face the direction of the camera, you can change the way your draw pass mesh is oriented. So I'll select the phase Z option. As you can see, it always points at the camera now. After this, we can start working on our snow, and we'll do this through the particle process node. And firstly, I'll want to slow down the rate of this particle falling down. So under gravity I'll change the -10 to -3, so as we can see it falls down slowly, or rather accelerates slowly. And under time section I'll increase the time the particle lives. After this I'll decrease the scale of this mesh to 0.2 in both directions. And now if I increase the particle count, you can see it only emits from 1 point. So we can change this by setting the emission points for this particle emitter, and to do so you can create emission points from new node. So I'll first create a node as a reference node. I'll add a mesh instance 3D node, and here I'll assign a new box mesh and change the size of this box mesh to be 20 meters by 20 meters. And once you've done this, you can hide the mesh instance you've created, and under GPU particles select the option, and in this window select the emission source as the volume of the reference mesh. Once we've done this, we can see that the particles are emitted from the volume of a reference mesh. If I increase the amount of the particles, you can see that they're emitted throughout our new reference mesh. If you want to scale this mesh, you'll also have to recreate the reference points. Now we can see that the particles always face the camera, but they don't really look like snow particles. So to make the particles look like snow, I'll also add turbulence to the particles. So if you go under GPU particles, you can scroll down to the process material, and under turbulence we can turn it on. Now you can see that the particles are being sent all across the place, but it still doesn't look like snow, so we'll tone down the noise strength and the noise scale, and we can see that the particles start falling down a lot more firmly, and it looks a lot more like snow. But we're still not quite finished. There's one extra step to do. Here under our material override shader, we can also add a texture for these little squares. So I'll quickly create a texture for each of these particles. Here now, once I'm in GIMP, I can create a new image. I'll use the 512 by 512 resolution. That's more than enough for particles. And here under background, I'll add an alpha channel. As I've said, we need an alpha channel in order to make use of the alpha selection. And so we'll select a brush, and under here you can select different brushes, and I'll make the brush size fit the canvas, and I'll click a couple of times, and here we have our snow particle. So export it and import it into Godot. Here back in Godot, once you've imported your texture, you can go to Albedo and add a new texture by quick loading it and select your new texture. As you can see, the alpha channel is now rendered, and we can only see the paintbrush in the middle we used, and now we can see the final result. Now we can see that the particles pop in and pop out, and we can also fix this by adding a curve to our particle process material. So under display and color curves, we can add an alpha curve by selecting a new curve texture, and under curve we can create a new curve, and we can suddenly see our particles disappeared, and we can make them show again by creating this curve. So I'll add another point by left clicking and dragging it down, and another point by left clicking and dragging it down. So now we can see that the particles actually fade in and fade out once their lifetime starts and then ends. Now let's look again how our particles look. As we can see, they fade in really smoothly and fade out smoothly. So this is how to make a snow effect in Godot. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and have a nice day.